Okay, so we're going to do another dish today, guys. We're going to use some pork jowl, and this actually comes from Meat Bank here at Sunnybank. Great little strips of, quite literally, pork jowl. And look, I'm just cutting them into medium-sized cubes. This recipe, like the beef dish, can be multiplied many times depending on how many you're feeding. Now, look, I'm going to use the whole packet of pork to marinate, but I probably won't use all of it to cook at this stage. But if you open the packet and you're marinating, you might as well marinate the whole lot. You can be used for 2 or 3 different purposes once that's done. So to marinate it, quite simply, stainless steel bowl. Good to use stainless steel because it doesn't hold its flavour, and the flavours we use are quite strong. So I'm going to use sriracha. So sriracha can come from any one of the Asian restaurants here at Sunnybank Plaza. And I've given it a really good squeeze. I would say there's a couple of dessert spoonfuls in there. Not necessarily that hot. Some people get a wee bit nervous that they're going to burn something. Sriracha is not necessarily that hot. A good drizzle of sesame seed oil, because that works really well with pork. And I've got a clove of garlic here that I'm just going to thin slice down. Obviously I've already peeled it. We try not to crush garlic, so just give it a little chopper. Doesn't have to be that fine because the dish is sort of almost finished as a braise, and that garlic will just melt down. You will get concentrations of bits of garlic, but that's the whole thing about Asian food. Every mouthful might be slightly different, whether you get garlic with your mouthful or not. Now, that's really nice. I put the sesame seed oil in there. I'm going to give it a little stir up to get that garlic happening. Doesn't have to be marinated long. In fact, you don't want to marinate it long because you overpower the flavour of the pork. So you really do still want to taste the pork. That's highlighted by a sriracha and garlic there. Now I'm going to put maybe half a teaspoon of rice flour in here. You could use corn flour. I like rice flour, so not even half a teaspoon. Just to help that sriracha stick to the meat. Perfect. Now, put that to one side. I found some eggplants at the shop earlier this morning. Nice little small eggplant. So I'm just going to chop them into quarters lengthwise. And again, this is a great way of bulking a meal out. And then just cut them across. So we've got little triangles. Look, I think one's going to be enough for us today. I'm going to turn the wok on. So important to get the wok really quite hot before you do anything. The oil that we're going to be using is again peanut oil. Quite a strong flavoured oil, but that's part of it. Pork is a strong flavoured meat. Now you can see little whiffs of smoke coming off my wok. I do have the rice on the other burner, and we're cooking that in a pot evaporation method. Now to flavour my wok, I'm going to put the pork in first. First of all, a touch of oil. You don't need a lot of oil in this particular case because the pork, using jowl pork, has a reasonable fat content. We want to leach that fat content out to flavour our meal. So you can see the wok's really smoking. We're going to put the pork down the side of the wok so we don't splash and burn ourselves. Now, I said we weren't going to use all the pork, so I'm going to keep the rest of that pork for another dish for another day. I have enough pork in here and there's probably only a couple of 100 grams of pork here. That's going to be good for 2 or 3 people. Again, it's all about more meat, less meat, more vegetable type content. Now, we really want that pork to sort of like only 3/4 cook at this stage. I'm going to turn the wok down. So I haven't got that much meat in there. I don't want the sriracha to burn, but I do want to slightly caramelise. That's looking good. Again, if you could smell it, you could smell that sriracha cooking really, really well. A bit of white pepper, just a sprinkle. So the white pepper is different from sriracha. While it's still hot, it's a different sort of heat. So it starts building on those layers of flavour. Now what else works really well with pork? Sesame seeds. So let's dust some sesame seeds in around the outside of the wok so they toast. Then we can have toasted sesame seeds with our pork. Not necessary to put ginger in this meal, which is, generally speaking, the other cornerstone of Asian flavours. Now look, those sesame seeds are just starting to hop in that oil and just starting to brown up. Beautiful. In this bowl I have some tinned tomatoes that were cooked with a wee bit of shallots. Very similar to the other beef dish that we made earlier. You have to check that one out on another video. But I've just added those tomatoes to the pork. I haven't got my wok turned up flat out, which is unusual for wok cooking. But I just want this to braise down a little bit now. Remember, we already sealed that pork off. So we just want it to braise down nice and gently. Don't want to lose too much of the liquid, otherwise the dish is going to be dry. It is important that this braises down a bit to cook the rice flour that we dusted the pork in. And look, sometimes, if you don't want to lose too much of that moisture, you can put a bowl over the top of your wok exactly like that. That keeps the moisture into the pork, keeps it moist. We still have our eggplants to put in. Now I'm just going to let that sort of just cook for a moment. With any luck, our rice will be done at the same time as our pork is. You can see how that's kept all the juices in. Let's put our eggplant straight in over the top. Put the lid back on. Give it a little shake. Wait for 5-10 minutes, not even that, 5 minutes max. In the meantime, I'll get a plate to serve this out on. Check our rice, which is beautifully cooked and fluffy. Only takes about 15 minutes, a small amount of rice like that to cook. So, I think I can take the lid off my rice. Looking good. I can just check on this to see. Now we really want the eggplants just to be cooked. I'm going to bury them into our liquid pork mixture. Looking good. Serve our rice. So we're going to do this Asian style where we put the rice on the plate and everyone helps themselves to the main dish, so to speak. So, beautiful. Give it a little chop up. Maybe make a little nest in the middle. Up to you. Check on our pork. More importantly, we want our eggplant just to start wilting down. So remember, the eggplant's always quite bitter. But we've mixed that with our sweet pork. Pork is considered a sweet meat. So we've got bittersweet happening here. A bit of salt from our tomatoes. Looking good. I reckon. Pretty good, just like this. Again, quick, simple, easy, Asian inspired. If you had other vegetables to add in here, you could, and that would make it even less meat involved. I might put a bit of green shallot that I have here on top, just to make it look a bit presentable, cutting those on the diagonal, only using the green part of the shallot, quite simply because the white part, too strong to use as garnish flavour-wise. Green top. Asian-inspired tomato, garlic, chili pork. Fantastic.